So, hello, folks. Welcome along to another edition of Rich Conversations, a series of short but insightful one-to-ones between myself, Rich, and someone from within my network who I see as being an absolute expert in their field. And today I am absolutely delighted to be joined by David Elverson, author, trainer, coach, and most of all, founder of Commercial Gov. David, how are you doing?
I'm very good, thanks, Rich. Thanks for inviting me on.
Absolute pleasure. No, thank you. David, the topic today has to be about commercialisation, certainly in local government is where we'll focus. I'll start off with a quick question around that. I sometimes get challenged with some of my clients who sometimes say, surely there are some departments within local government where commercialisation just isn't possible. What would your response be to that one, would you say?
Well, I think my quick response would be, I don't agree with that. And the reason I don't agree with that is because for me, working commercially is about using assets and capabilities to deliver outcomes in the most efficient and effective way to create a net benefit for the community as well as bottom line finances. And I don't think there's any department in local government that doesn't apply to. So commercial, it perhaps used to, the focus of it used to be about income generation. And yes, that narrow focus doesn't apply to every department. But when you take a broader view of commercialization, and it's about creating a net benefit, it's about finances and assets and capabilities being used in the best way to deliver as much value as possible, then I think that applies everywhere. And, you know, in social care, it's about market management. It's ensuring that there's providers out there being paid in the right way so that there's competition which can deliver the best outcomes. In children's services, perhaps it's about demand management, because you can spend ages and working really hard to earn an extra 200-300 grand for the council through income generation. You get 2 new children, looked after children into the system, and that's wiped out straight away. So the demand management piece has to be a really important part of it. And some of those back office services, such as say Revs and Bends or something like that, it's about how can we utilize the assets, making sure that the processes are efficient and effective, the end users at the heart of it, there's no waste in the system to deliver the best benefit possible through those assets and resources.
Sure, absolutely. You know, waste absolutely being absolutely crucial. And it resonates with me massively when you talk about income generation. It is often that first question, isn't it? Where can we go out and make money? And it just doesn't have to be about income generation. It's so much wider and bigger than that, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's you know, and very often we come across a real focus on income, but without necessarily an understanding of the costs of generating the income. And it doesn't take a commercial genius to realize that if you spend a tenner to make a fiver, you're not going to be doing too well. So it's that net benefit is the key thing that people need to be looking at.
Yeah, indeed. And talking about things to look at, let's say I was a brand new manager coming into the sector for the first time, managing my first ever team within the sector. What kind of quick win could I focus on if I was to pop on a commercial hat, would you say?
I think for me, that would come down to the essence of what's the golden thread that links all of those different elements of commercial together. And for me, that golden thread is about building whatever it is that we're doing around the customer, the end user, the service user, whatever definition we're going to use for it. Because so often we end up doing things because that's the way we've done them. You know, that's the way services are delivered. And we work forwards from our service eventually to the customer. So a really common situation I come across all the time is a slightly desperate, crikey, our budget's in a difficult position. We need to be commercial. Right, what is it that we do? What is that we've got? Let's flog it to customers to try and make some money. Now, to me, that's completely the wrong way round, because that is, in a sense, saying we've got a problem. Let's try and find some customers to solve our problem. Actually, to be commercial, it's about flipping that on its head and saying, who are the end users? What's their needs? What are their problems? And then how can we use our assets and capabilities to help them meet those? Which might mean we need to tweak, change what it is that we're doing so that we're in alignment with where that need is. But it's about building it around that need rather than building it around us and what we do. So a little example to make it real. Pretty much every council who's doing anything commercially has done something around pre-application for developers for planning. Now, from the developer's point of view, they couldn't give a monkeys that planning is a different team to building control, that's a different team to environmental enforcement, that's a different team to licensing, that's perhaps even a different council to highways. As far as they're concerned, you're the council, I'm going to pay for a pre-app service, and if you make it easy for me, and it's a one-stop shop that answers all of those questions without having to open various different doors, do you know what? I'll probably even pay more for it. So it's about building around that end user rather than actually, this is who we are, these are our departments and services, let's now find a way to press loads of different, well, the reality is all of those different services, all of those different departments then contact the same customer in a very inefficient way and never upsell and cross-sell between them either.
Fascinating. Brilliant stuff. Listen, David, we've probably run out of time, but that has been so insightful. Thank you so much for being a guest on Rich Conversations. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot, Rich.